I went to Hollyweird with my sister. I mean, it was great right up until she lied about having money and then tried to use my card for a bunch of shit. Spending money I don't have. But, whatever, I don't... My sister has zero accountability. She's a narcissist, just like, I guess everybody in my family's a narcissist. Including myself, I guess. Whatever. But, I did have this funny moment. I'm normally not distracted by really sexy women, but, there was a girl there, Latina, that, was dressed as the I Dream a Genie girl, and dear God, did she have an amazing fat ass with thick ass thighs, and absolutely stacked, like, short, curvy woman. There is a thing about that, like, curvy, thick girls. Like, they tend to be more common than tall, thick girls. Like, most tall women tend to be lanky. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Yeah, no, she was absolutely stacked. She had the olive skin going on, but, like, basically, in reality, Latino women are, like, the beautiful version of white people, in my opinion. But, yeah, I mean, she wasn't the only cute, chubby girl out there. There's a girl dressed as a butterfly. There's a girl dressed as a bumblebee. There was, a goth girl. Might have been goth girl. She might not have been actually goth, but, like, dressed as a goth girl. It's amazing how, like, the gothic aesthetic becomes a generic Halloween costume. There were all types of shapes and sizes. Everybody's allowed to dress up for Halloween, and that's amazing, because you really get a perspective on, different body types, walking around. But that girl was just absolutely gorgeous. I really shouldn't be bragging about this, because this church is probably going to go out and murder her, or force her into the church, and ruin her, and destroy her life, and fucking fuck her up because I said I liked her, so I guess there's that, but whatever, man. I can't control that, but I can control this. Yeah, we went around, we saw some amazing costumes, dude. Talk about being amongst your people, and probably for the first time in a very long time, I actually felt like the world wasn't all doom and gloom and misery. See, I've just been sitting in this room by myself, talking about misery, and when I was out there, I felt a sense of peace and joy and happiness. I didn't want to leave it. I kept wanting to party, drink alcohol, and just get really fucked up and fucking party and talk with people and just be a general Bob. Just be all the Bob I could be, Ended up going to this a chicken truck and waited way too long for a chicken sandwich. It wasn't even that great, but whatever, man. Food's food, especially when you're in a party environment. Whoever came up with Hollyweird is amazing, by the way, because, like, holy shit, was that shit cool. Alcohol and fucking costumes, everybody taking pictures. There's a guy dressed as Predator. There was this Pumpkin Patch King guy that was basically piloting, like, a costume-style mech, just a giant costume. There's this girl called the Hurricane. She had an inverted dress. She could flip upside down and spin around, and there was a deadite chick with these jewels that were glued to, like, her lip. I mean, I kept seeing her, like, scratch at her face, so obviously the glue was itchy, but, like, holy shit, was her costume absolutely gorgeous. I mean, she was kind of a mini, she was a people nugget, but, like, whatever, like, still in amazing costumes. Lots of pirates, dude. Everybody was dressed as a pirate. It was fucking crazy. And clowns. Clowns were, like, first couple clowns, you're like, whoa, clowns. And then you're like, whoa, clowns. I am shocked at the amount of people who dressed as clowns and pirates. And then anime characters. There was a girl there dressed as Tengen. There was a chick there dressed as Chun-Li. And I am so happy the BBL is just so popular right now. There's just so many chicks with giant asses, like, cartoonishly big, chunky butts. Like, I mean, this is just the appropriate era to live in, if you like fucking thick, curvy girls, because they were just stacked and loaded everywhere you looked. Yeah. I mean, I sound like a fucking perv, but whatever. I was dancing and just generally making a nuisance of myself. I was generally having fun, jumping around. I really wish I knew more dance moves. I guess that's kind of on me. I guess I could learn some more dance moves, along with a couple, maybe some more song lyrics. But like, all in all, 10 out of 10. If you're ever lucky enough to go to Hollyweird, go to Hollyweird. It's pretty awesome. We ended up at the end of the night, my sister stealing my credit card and then just running up a ridiculous tab on it and fucking talking to some Puerto Rican chick that was telling me about she has this idea for a children's book, and I did the Bob thing and just encouraged her to pursue that. Like, lady, if you think you can make money in it, just do it. And I told her, I was like, you're very expressive, you're very verbose, you're very positive. I was like, start a YouTube. I was like, look for some people that can help you with marketing your book. And I was like, write a child's book. I was like, you'll be great at it. I was like, or you won't. And that's just how life is. Just live your life. And she was telling me about being a single mother and having all these, like, 3 or 4 boys and how she's a grandmother now. And I was just, that's amazing. I was like, I'm so glad that your family has prospered. Like, my sister kept talking to her way too long. And we talked to this guy that we thought was Larry the Cable Guy, but he wasn't Larry the Cable Guy, but he kept talking about, we ended up both finding out that we both lived in Ackworth, specifically Cobb County. He called Ackworth Crackworth, and we had a conversation, and he was pretty cool. He was just a chill fucking white guy that was trying to prove to me, weirdly, he wasn't racist. He was really fixated on trying to convince me he wasn't racist. I no idea where that was coming from, but it's just an insecurity in his mind that he's racist, I guess. You can't really deal with people like that, but like, I mean, whatever, man. We all have our hiccups, right? The thing I saw in Hollyweird was there is some good in the world. I saw legitimate people having legitimate fun. Outside of this really weird thing where this guy wanted me to grab all these balls out of a shark's mouth so that he could give us tickets to the Heat game, and I guess we got tickets to the Heat game, so woo, the Heat. My sister was pretty excited about it, and she was thrilled that we're gonna go see the Heat, I guess. I don't know. Like, they gave her fucking thing, and then she bailed. I was taking pictures with people. I took a picture with this guy called Master Roshi, and he was like, come out and celebrate me on stage. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, when we do the costume thing. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then my sister lied and said that they're not doing the costume thing. And then I walked down there, and they were doing the costume thing, and I got lucky, and the Roshi guy walked out. So I kept my word, and I fucking yelled for him and fucking clapped my hands and fucking cheered for him and shit. I'm pretty loud, believe it or not. So there's that. Fucking, I mean, the Roshi guy didn't win. Master Roshi didn't win. It was the pumpkin guy. And then there was apparently, I missed 2 other things. One was like just best costume overall. One of them was best couples costume, which made sense because we were walking around. There was a lot of Fred and Wilmas everywhere for whatever fucking reason. There was, the people that won were this centaur couple where they were like, not centaur, but like, I don't know what you call them, just horn people couple. Costumes were in sync. They were right on fucking cue. I was surprised the guy that was dressed as the Predator didn't make it. I was kind of bummed about that. I thought that guy was going to make it for sure, but he didn't make it. And, like, yeah, this other dude that had 2 angels, he was Lucifer with 2 angels enslaved to him. Another dude was like, I think he was some gangster like Al Capone or something, I don't know. He had women with him that were chained up, and I guess that's just like a male power fantasy, whatever, but I was like, that's cool, like, that's you guys, like, that's your thing, and, you know, whatever. All in all, 10 out of 10. Like I said, if you're ever in Florida, in the Hollywood area, check out Hollyweird if it's ever happening for, like, Halloween. Get to see all the chunky ladies in super tight outfits, and There was a lot of guys that were cross-dressing as women. I thought that was kind of unique. You don't really see that in Georgia, but down here there was so many guys cross-dressed as women. I was just okay, that's cool, you know. There was also the generic sexy nurses, the ones with the black nurse costumes and the white nurse costumes. There was a chubby witch wandering around. She looked like a lot of fun, but like I didn't bother talking to her. There was I took a picture with a lot of guys. One of the dudes was Macho Man. He came dressed up like Macho Man, which was basically a Speedo and sunglasses. And I was like, holy shit, it's Macho Man. I took pictures with a whole bunch of people tonight. Like, I couldn't tell you how many. I just saw people. I was like, I want a picture with that guy. I want a picture with those guys. I want a picture with these guys. I want a picture with all these guys. And I kept making jokes. There were people dressed up like Alien from Aliens, and I kept like, where's ICE at? There's illegal aliens over here. Like, I don't think anybody really found my jokes funny, but like, I mean, it's whatever. I was having fun, so, yeah. Fucking food trucks lined up and down the street. There were real police officers and people dressed up like fake police officers. There was a group of women that were all fake police officers. Some of these people came in dressed up like Evil Christmas, which was like a group thing. They were like undead Santa Claus and undead Mrs. Claus. They looked like they were having a lot of fun. Surprisingly, a lot of those inflatable like sumo suits and like fucking dinosaur suits everywhere, but like Florida's hot as fuck, and I bet those suits are pretty fucking cool with the little fan constantly blowing in them. My sister went as a plushie and basically took her plushie thing off like as soon as we got there because she got hot immediately, because the plushie suit is not the best suit for fucking surviving the heat in Florida. And I had to just walk around carrying her suit the entire time, but I was just like, whatever, dude, I'm carrying this, you know. I've always been like, what, I guess we're doing this now, you know. Urinals were gross, bathrooms smelled like piss, but that's just how it be, you know. I had a good time. There was a really skinny, not super curvy girl that I thought was absolutely adorable. She was dressed as a cow and she was working at this ice cream stand serving ice cream. She had a cow tail. Her costume, like, at first just looked like ears and a corset. Then I realized she had a cow tail. Then I realized she was wearing, like, hooves. And I realized that, like, there was a lot more to her costume that was cow-esque. Which, I guess, probably is just, like, real dedication to the cow thing, you know. I'm coming down off of being wasted, so there's that. Music, a lot of Latino music in the middle, the generic kind of late millennial kind of hip-hop stuff at the end was performed by like a live band. There are people singing all the favorites, the general favorites that get people singing. Weirdly, there was nobody singing Michael Jackson's Thriller. There was nobody playing Thriller, but I think maybe the world has forgotten about Michael Jackson's Thriller, and maybe that's for the best. I don't know. Yeah. There's lots of photo ops, lots of little people, this lady that 3D printed dragons, and honestly, I kind of feel hope for the world, because just everybody who's out there just genuinely having fun. There were people that brought their kids were dressed up in costumes. The adults were dressed up in matching costumes, and there are people who brought their dogs, and dogs are just amazing people. They're probably the best people, even though they're not fucking human beings. Like, the best people are the people in graveyards, that's just a fact, okay? The dead ones. But when people aren't being dicks or spiteful, they're actually pretty cool to hang out with, I guess. All the women that were working the bars, everybody was dressed up. Most of them were nurses. There wasn't really like a real super diversity amongst them. There were a lot of guys dressed as nurses also. Like, holy shit, were there a lot of guys dressed as nurses. But, yeah, my sister ended up having me talk to this Puerto Rican lady that, told me all this thing. She was dressed as a stormtrooper, which was a fascinating choice. Like, she had, like, the onesie, the Zentai suit. There was such a variety of people there. Just such a variety of, there were people that were dressed up like Alice in Wonderland. There were people that were dressed up like Spider-Man, Captain America, Miles Morales as Spider-Man. There was a dude dressed up like Sub-Zero. My sister called Scorpion for some reason. I don't know why she did that. He's the blue Scorpion, you know. Like, yeah. And, you know, I thought for Florida there would be more hyper-sexualized costumes, but there was actually a lot less of that stuff and more of a, clowns. Lots and lots of clowns. People were really dressing down, and I was kind of happy to see that. One of the things that did bother me is everybody that was dressed up seemed older. It's almost as if Zoomers don't celebrate Halloween. Maybe they don't. Maybe Halloween's one of those things that's just going away. But there were a lot of older Zoomers, or millennials, that were all dressed up, and people older than that were all dressed up. And I mean, regardless, everybody was having fun. It doesn't matter what your age is, as long as you're having fun, you know. And yeah, when I was out there, you know, like I said, all my videos are all doom and gloom, and this is the end and stuff. There was actual joy that leaked in. I was actually having fun and not caring about the world and screaming about pedophilic churches that are terrorist groups that murder and kill people. And I kind of realized, like, yeah, there is some good in the world, you know.